just false expectations appearing real. It's not real. Just get over it and just get started. And then failure, really, it is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. You have to fail and get the learnings from that to be able to know what steps to take next in order to win.
Hi, I'm Ebony, and I believe that stories change lives and everyone has a story worth telling. Sometimes, unfortunately, we let our self-doubt get in the way of us writing our stories and sharing our stories. So that's why I created Motivation to Write as a source of motivation and inspiration to help writers like you and me share our stories with the world. So I talk to the experts ranging from entrepreneurs to marketers to authors to therapists to psychologists who share their knowledge and their advice to help writers like you and me step into our full potential. Hi, welcome to Motivation to Write. Today I have founder of Dragon Digital Marketing, Monique Idemudia, as a guest. So let's learn a little bit more about Monique. Monique Idemudia is a small business marketing consultant. She gives small businesses more visibility online by helping them map out a strategic plan of action. Monique founded Dragon Digital Marketing Agency because she's passionate about marketing and enjoys bringing visions to life. She's been to 21 countries, speaks 3 languages, prefers waffles over pancakes, and she hosts Digital Marketing Podcast. I am here with Monique Idemudia.
Yeah, that's right.
And my audience, mostly they are novice writers and bloggers who want to spread awareness about their website. They want to gain readership and all that good stuff. And it sounds like you probably have some good tips for them. I was wondering perhaps if you could just give us a little bit about like your background, how you got into marketing.
Oh, yeah, right. So I've always loved marketing. That's always been one of my passions. And yeah, I went to business school and I learned about entrepreneurship and everything. And it was always my goal to start my own business and be my own boss and gain all of that freedom. And then I finally started my own digital marketing agency, Dragon Digital Marketing, last year. And yeah, that's how it all started. So I'm super excited and just living the dream.
That's crazy. So you just had the idea to come up with your own marketing firm?
Yes, that's right. I've always wanted to have my own company. I felt like I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit within me. And yeah, I'm super passionate about it. So yeah, it's a lot of.
How did you get the word out about, like, what marketing strategies did you use for your site or your business?
Yes, I use predominantly inbound marketing strategies, which is attracting people to you through the content that you put out there, what you share on social media, the blog posts that I have on my website, online courses, my podcast, all those kind of things. So I'm not the type of person who cold calls a bunch of people or I don't know, cold emails a bunch of people and, interrupt them in their day and pitch to them and try to sell. But I really try to provide value and attract people to me. So that's how I promote my own business. And that's also what I help my clients do.
Okay, that sounds good. So maybe can you talk to us a little bit about inbound marketing? Because that sounds like it's very content based.
Yes, exactly. It's very content based. It has a lot to do with blogging. Inbound is basically a marketing methodology where you attract people to you instead of interrupting them in their day with content that they don't need and want. They haven't asked for that. They don't want to see that, and you're just annoying them, basically. That's outbound marketing. And then inbound is by just being at the right place at the right time with the right content. For example, if you are a blogger about, give me like a topic suggestions.
Let's say I'm a blogger who blogs about pets.
Yeah, perfect example. Who blogs about pets, and then some person Googles, what do I feed a pet?
Turtle.
Chinchilla, yeah, turtle, whatever. Yeah. And then your blog article pops up at the top search results at Google because you've optimized it for that. That will be a form of inbound marketing. That would be a perfect example for that. So then you can sell your pet products, your services, whatever you do, and people find you themselves.
Right.
So you just get yourself in front of the right eyeballs instead of doing advertising and just interrupting people. So
Mm.
that's what inbound is all about. You're drawing people in.
So is like the using social media, is that outbound marketing?
Oh no, that's inbound
That's still
too. That's
inbound.
inbound
Okay.
too. If you post organically, right? Organic social media marketing, you just share posts, then that's inbound. Outbound would be pitching to people in the DMs,
I got
right?
it. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
what we get a lot, especially on LinkedIn these days. I don't know if you get as much sales pitches as I do on LinkedIn, but a lot of people are doing outbound marketing. Uh,
I'm trying to take like each social media platform at a time because I'm a little slow on the social media. So I haven't really got into LinkedIn yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. But I'm kind of I started off on Twitter, which doesn't really work as far, I mean, it helps to build awareness, but as far as like really getting readers, I found that isn't the best platform for me. I think Facebook and Instagram are working okay.
are working better for you? Yeah, it really depends. Everything what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another person. So you really have to find your platform and find your niche and just figure it out for yourself. I've started on Twitter too. I really like Twitter.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You mentioned SEO optimization as part of like an inbound marketing strategy. Um, you've also, I noticed that you mentioned in your intro online courses. Like how does that work?
Right. So if you're an expert at something and you're good enough to teach other people what you do, you can create an online course and just become an educator. You can, post it up on Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning,
Mhm.
Skillshare. Like there's so many learning platforms out there, or your own website, have your own course site. And that's content as well at the end of the day. That's content marketing. People can discover the course, they find the course, and then at the same time they find out about you and what you do, and you raise awareness for your business that way, and ideally they consider hiring you and buying from you because they see that you're an expert and you really know what you're doing, and that's how you draw people into you through your content, the
That,
inbound way. The
yeah.
great thing about that is that it just works for you 24/7. Like the content is out there and people can discover it all the time, every day,
Mm,
365 days a year because it's just out there. If they search for it, they can find it. Versus if you reach out to people, you're limited. Like you're spending your time when you're not on the phone, calling people up and trying to convince them to buy from you, then you're not marketing yourself at that moment versus your content is out there. Your blog posts that are out there on your blog, they're out there. So a blog post that you've written, I don't know, 3 years ago, it can still generate leads and customers for your business today and for the years to come in the future. Like it basically never dies. It keeps on working for you and marketing itself for you. And then, over time, over the years, it just snowballs into this huge, massive marketing success if you stay consistent with it. That's how
right.
powerful it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you said a key word, consistency. Um, because if you're not like consistently posting blog articles, or if you're not just creating content, then does that affect your SEO?
It definitely helps if you're consistent with it and the more content you have. Obviously, you still want to make sure that your content is high quality. So don't be consistently posting bad content just to stay
Yeah,
consistent. That's for sure.
yeah.
But yeah, just keep at it and don't give up, especially because you don't see results overnight, right? It takes some time. So make sure you keep at it and always keep on writing and publishing your content to your blog.
Yeah, okay. So because a lot of bloggers get discouraged when they feel they're not getting eyeballs on their stuff.
Yeah.
They start off their blog and then they're checking their page views. It's like 10 people today, maybe 15 people tomorrow, 0 people the next day. And then they just want to quit. So what would you say to the blogger or the person who just started their site who's constantly checking like me sometimes, who's
Right.
constantly checking their page views to see, and then they feel like they're not getting anywhere.
Yes. First of all, that's perfectly normal. That's how everybody starts out. You start out from zero, you start out from scratch. I think a lot of people have wrong expectations on what we see and hear and on social media. Everybody always only talks about their successes and posts about their successes when they're already successful, but not a lot of people post the reality of things, of life, of how hard it is, how to overcome challenges, what problems they have, what problems they've been facing. So it's a lot of, only sharing the highlights. But the truth is that it's hard. Everybody will be a vlogger and be a rich blogging and traveling around and getting all those brand endorsement deals and whatnot if it was easy. So you have to build that over time and keep at it. And you start with 0 visitors and 0 page views. And what's important is that you monitor it. So it's definitely good to check those metrics and take advantage of those metrics. And make sure you keep an eye on them. And what's important is that you see an upwards trend, so you see it increasing, so okay, whatever it is that you're doing is actually working, and you're
Right.
getting results from that. If you don't see an upwards trend over time, like let's say this month you didn't get more visitors than last month, and you have been posting new content, obviously if you haven't been working on anything, why should there be any improvement? But if you have been consistently posting like one or several blog posts a week and you didn't see more, then you should just ask yourself what you can do better, and like analyze your mistakes here and just make sure that you're improving and make sure you're moving in the right direction, because you don't want all of that work and effort to all go in vain and nobody sees your amazing stuff and gets to read it.
Right. So, and I think that's kind of the tricky part too, is how to figure out exactly what is not working. Right. So you see that you're not getting the visitors that you would like, but at the same time, because you're not getting visitors, you're not really getting feedback. So is it just a matter of like just testing a whole bunch of stuff, like throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks? Or what advice would you give someone who's in that place where they don't know what to fix?
Yeah, so you can definitely do that and just do some tests. Make sure you always only test one test variable. It's called A/B testing. So
Mm,
that way you can be sure that you're attributing the change to the right thing. Because if you've changed the headline and you've changed the images and you've changed the call to actions and a bunch of other stuff, then you don't know what caused the increase or decrease in new page visitors, right? So
yeah.
just change one thing at a time, and yeah, do A/B testing and isolate your test variables. And then if you don't have any readers yet, ask your friends, ask your family members to give you feedback and read your stuff, right? So
Right.
just ask people. And promotion, right? The content promotion is almost as important as the content creation part. So share your posts on social media, let people know, build an email list, then send out an email blast to all of your subscribers in your next newsletter and let them know about your new blog post and so on. So you really want to get the word out as well.
Right, right. And you said a lot of you said a lot right there. Okay, so like the first thing is how important it is to try one thing at a time to see what, because then you can actually dwindle down to what
Exactly.
variable.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Um, the second thing is getting your friends and family involved. Yeah, that's actually pretty helpful and important. And I am always kind of surprised at how many people don't do that. And maybe it's because they feel our family and friends won't even, they're not into whatever it is that they're doing, or I don't know. But that's actually a really great tip to get your family and friends involved. And then you mentioned something about images, and I can't remember what you said about images. I just wrote down images. But you know what? While you were talking, I was reminded of one of these quotes on your site that you have. It says, the design of our branding and look and feel is what attracts the eye, and the value of our content is what attracts the heart. And I love that quote. And so I kind of want to talk a little bit about that look and feel of your site and how important that is.
Absolutely, yes. It's very important. You want to have a professional looking site. Your site is like the reflection of you, of what you put out there and how you are seen. People perceive you in a certain way, and you should be aware of that and conscious of that. And then you can strategically influence it, right? If you want to be seen as happy and friendly and positive and fun, like orange and yellow, for example, as colors come to mind. Red is like very 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 powerful, or it can even mean like warning, danger. That's like what it implements. Blue is like durability, trustworthiness, seriousness, even a little bit more sophisticated. And then yeah, be aware of that. Choose your brand colors that way, choose your images that way, and you have to have a consistent structure. So yeah, keep that in mind. Use the same fonts, use the same image style, use the same colors, your formatting, everything, the entire look and feel should be coherent, and people should have a consistent experience if they're browsing your site and checking out the different stuff that you have on there. So they just know what they're getting. It
Mm,
becomes predictable, and you stand for something. That's important, that you stand for something, right? And that leads me to branding, because that is basically what your brand is. It's your reputation. It's what other people think of you. It's other people's perception of you, what other people say and think about you when you're not in the room, so
hmm.
they can identify with those things and your core message, your core values, what you stand for. So you don't want to switch it up. So yeah, you wanna really find yourself. In the beginning, you can maybe experiment with that and switch it up until you find what you really love. But then if you start on taking it seriously and start on building, definitely stay consistent with it, and don't switch up the visual elements of your website and the look and feel of the web. When it comes to everything, when it comes to web design, you can't have like a square angled corner button, and then the next button is like has like rounded edges and is like round, like this pill shape, something
Okay,
like
right,
yeah,
right.
just random examples that I can just think of. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, stay consistent with everything. That's
right.
really what it comes down to. And then you'll have a good and consistent user experience, and that's also gonna benefit you. People are going to stay on your site longer. They're not going to bounce off as quickly. They interact and engage with your content better and do what you want them to do in the end.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you started talking about branding. I'm glad because it sounds like in order to have an effective brand, or in order to brand effectively, you really need to know what it is, as you said, what you stand for. Like
Exactly.
what's your purpose, what's your message to your audience, what's your cause.
That's
And
right.
right, okay. And I think that yeah, that's something that bloggers kind of overlook is what do you stand for? Because once you know what you stand for, then everything else like should align with that message, right? To get that
That's right.
consistency.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, right. And that would come across visually as well as in the content.
Yes, that's right. So
Okay.
that will come across visually in your visual elements, like your colors.
Yeah.
If you have like a logo for your blog, your images, the look and feel, and also in your verbal elements, like the language that you use. Is your language super casual? Like, how are you writing? Is it super formal? How is the tone? Like, is it funny? The tone of voice, your brand language, your brand name, your blog name. So those are like the verbal elements. Maybe you have like a slogan or a tagline or whatever. So all of those elements have to be aligned, and it has to come down to the same core values, like what's your mission, your vision, your purpose. Why do you do what you do? Why are you so passionate about it? How do you provide value in like a unique
Right.
way, and you bundle that up basically into your brand, and then that becomes your brand. If you stay consistent with it over time, people start to recognize it over and over again, and that's how you build that reputation for your brand and grow it.
Right. You know, I was talking with a motivational speaker and author recently, and he mentioned that people aren't necessarily interested in what you do per se, but it's why you do it. And I think that's important because I feel like if you have a strong why, like a strong message, like a very clear cause, then you will probably attract more loyal customers because they
Exactly.
want to stand for the same, they'll have the same values, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yes, that's right. You're
Yeah,
going to attract people with the same values as you
right.
because you're going to resonate with them, right? We
Right.
all like to surround ourselves with people who are like us, people that have something in
Yeah,
common with us, and
right.
be in a community like that. So if you find your tribe and you're consistent with your core values, your brand represents that, your readers are going to be loyal fans. And all of a sudden, you can create a demand for yourself, and people are going to search specifically for content from your brand, content that you put out. So when they search for a topic in Google, for example, it's called branded search queries. They're going to type your name afterwards because they want to see if there's a piece of content from you on it, just because they love you so much. They love your writing style, they love your take on things because you're so positive and uplifting and motivating or funny, inspirational, whatever it is that makes you so unique. That's why you have to let your why shine through, because that's what differentiates you from others, right? Thousands of people blog about pets, about this and that, about any fashion, anything really. But what makes you unique is what makes you stand out, and that's what allows you to succeed as well.
Right. Okay. So then I think I have a clear picture on what branding is. And you said something earlier. Part of branding is what people are thinking about you when you're not in the room. So
That's
branding is all of like what it is, what we've been talking about. It is basically your mission, your cause, um, your values.
exactly,
Okay.
yes. And in a nutshell, branding is attaching an emotional component to like your product or your service or your personality, and branding that with the elements like your verbal and your visual elements that I've just talked about, and the brand then embodies that and represents that all under one roof, for example.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now we're getting into emotions. This is another big thing I know with marketing is or selling anything. I mean, we're always selling stuff, anyways. I mean, we're selling ourselves, we're selling our ideas. Oh, I teach. I used to teach AP English for 11th grade, and there was a book we used. Everything's an argument, and because everything is, you're always trying to make an argument for something. And the way we dress is an argument. The way we speak, so there's always that yeah, emotions are huge because you're always trying to evoke some type of emotional response or feeling in someone, because if they can feel what it is that you need them to feel, it's easier to persuade them, it's easier to attract them. And so
Emotions
yeah,
are what
emotion.
draws people in. If you're
Yeah,
ice cold, there's no connection there, right?
right,
People need
yeah.
context. People need emotion. That's how you feel for someone, and that's what just attracts people and draws them in.
Yeah. So what advice do you give people as far as that emotional component? If you're marketing, let's say that I have my pet blog or whatever,
Yeah.
how would I use emotion in either my content or in my in my branding to attract people?
Right. So think about what you want to stand for and what emotions you want other people to feel when they visit your blog and they consume your content, right?
Right.
If you're, for example, blogging about financial stuff, insurance, or whatever, you want to stand for safety, security, reliability.
Right.
So you choose like a serif font that represents that, like Times New Roman, whatever. That's what represents that. You're not going to choose like a script font that is like super playful and
Right.
whatever. That's
Yeah.
serious enough. So think about everything, and then when it comes down to the elements on your page, make sure that that's consistent as well, and everything just underlines your core message, and
Yeah.
that's how you build your brand as well.
I'm
So think about 3 to 5 adjectives, really, emotions and feelings that you want people to feel when they interact with you, when they visit your site, when they think of you, whatever, and try to bring everything together so they actually feel that and get really clear about that. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's important.
that's actually really great advice. List 3 to 5 emotions that you want people to feel
Yeah,
upon visiting your site or thinking about you.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's a great advice. And I'm so glad you talked about like the visual, the fonts, like all of that really is super important because yeah, if you're if you have like a serious site about law or something, but you're using that like comic font, that's
yeah.
going to be completely inconsistent with the seriousness of what it is that you're trying to sell.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
That's great. So then, there's another quote here that I want to get your take on that I got from your site. It says, "Without strategy, execution is aimless, and without execution, strategy is useless." So when we talk about strategy, and it sounds like what we have been talking about, like what your site looks like, your message, your content, that's all part of the strategy. But I kind of want to get a definition from you of what you mean by like a marketing strategy and how important it is to actually execute that strategy.
That's right. So the definition of a strategy is it's a plan of action that brings you to a desired goal that you have set as your goal. So that's really what a strategy is. It maps out your plan of action and how you're going to take action specifically to get there. For example, if you want more PR mentions, what action steps can you take? You can write press releases and get the word out for the press to mention you. You can hop on people's podcasts, for example, and be interviewed like them like that. That's how you get more mentions outside in the press and media, and that would be action steps that you take to do that. If your goal is to get more followers in social media, what action steps can you take? I'm gonna post 3 times a week at fixed days and fixed times on my social networks that I want to grow my following on, and that would be my strategy for that. So that's really what a strategy is.
Right.
And obviously, you can make a plan if you don't actually take action and follow through with it. It's useless. So you actually also have to put the work in to make it work. That's important too. So I
Right.
know a lot of people, we like planning and we write editorial calendars and I want to write about that and then I'm going to write about that and this and that, and then we never actually do it and get to do it, and it's all just planned, but then you're paralyzed or you get writer's block or whatever. So just just start, just start. It doesn't get better if you stare at a blank page. So take action and get over it in your head.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, just
Yeah.
start doing it and always execute. Execution is key because if it's not executed, it's just an idea. It doesn't become real. You can't reach your goals that way.
Right, right. And you know what I found, Monique, is sometimes um because you don't sometimes you just don't even when it comes to planning, you're as you said, some people just feel paralyzed in the planning mode. Like they get the writer's block, they don't even know if you just start with something, just do something, the clarity comes.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So sometimes the clarity comes after taking action, then you go back and you refine, you fix. It's always this process of just, I was talking to someone else who's in marketing of this process of constant discovery. You try something out, you evaluate it, then you can actually start to once you see what has worked for you or what you feel comfortable doing, you can start to formalize that plan a lot more clearly, and that's better than just sitting there like I don't know what to do.
That's right. It's just
Yeah,
about getting started. That first step is the hardest step. Once you've got started, you got something to work with now. Now you got something that you can tweak. You can come back a couple days later with like fresh eyes
yeah,
and work on it again and you got new ideas. But if you never start, that's just the worst thing. So you have to overcome that.
yeah, yeah. And so what advice do you give to people who just are so they're scared of failure. And they just don't, they're taking action, they have a plan, they're trying stuff, and they're not getting, we kind of talked about this, but they're not getting the responses that they feel that they should be getting. And maybe they're even trying some of this stuff, like I'm trying one thing at a time, and they just feel like it's just not going to work and I want to give up. I mean, should that person, how do you know when to give up?
So first of all, fear is just false expectations appearing real. It's not real. Just get over it and just get started. And then failure, really, it is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. You have to fail and get the learnings from that to be able to know what steps to take next in order to win, right? We're not born knowing anything. We're not even born knowing how to walk. We do that with trial and error. We fail a lot. We fall down a lot. Get back up each and every time until we master it. And now it's just like the most natural thing. I'm gonna get up, walk wherever I want to walk to my fridge, get a drink, whatever. It's just normal. I'm not even thinking about it anymore because I've learned it now. I'm mastering it. And that's really, like, maybe it's like a silly example, but that's really with everything. We acquire skills because we practice it and we learn it. Most things we don't know inherently, so we have to become aware of that and don't feel bad about ourselves or feel like failures because we're comparing ourselves to other people who are experts because they've been doing this for years and years and years, and we're just beginners just starting out. So that's just part of the process. Don't be afraid to fail or scared of failure. That's how you achieve success.
Right.
And really, if you do an analysis and you monitor your performance, you have metrics that give you indications of what to change and what to tweak. Like you've talked about earlier, you have your website analytics where you can see your page views, you can see your number of visitors, you can see what percentage of your visitors are returning visitors that have come back to your site and they've been there before and they like what they saw, so they're coming back. How many shares do you get on social? How many times have your articles been shared on Facebook, or your images being shared on, I don't know, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever? People be tagging you. The feedback that you get, have your emails increased? Do people reach out to you for collaborations all of a sudden? How about your following, your engagement, everything? There's so many metrics that you can track and that give you indications about what to change, and always get the insights from that, get the learnings from that, and improve. And as long as you see improvement, you really shouldn't give up. If something is your dream
Yeah.
and you can imagine that, then you can also achieve it. So you shouldn't give up. You need to find new ways to approach it. And if you feel it's something, you have to be happy because that's amazing. Now you've figured out another way that doesn't work. Great. Now you can focus on finding new ways that work, and you have eliminated that from the equation, and you've come a step further. So that's how you've got to see it. Always stay positive, and you realize that a lot of people, your idols that you look up to, they've been doing it for years, or over a decade, a lot of them. So if you just been doing it for a couple of months and you're not there yet, that's just normal. That's just how things are. So don't get discouraged. I don't think you should ever even think about giving up. Like, always look forward. Don't look back and see what has helped you, and see the opportunity and everything, and get the positive takeaways from everything. That's how you should look at things, really.
Yeah, yeah. That's great because I like how you said that success is part of failure, and um it reminded me of another conversation I was having, and we were talking about Tony Robbins and how, now he's at a point in his life where he can charge, however much he charges for his seminars, thousands of dollars for his seminars. But when he first started, I'm sure there were, moments or events where he had very few people, and
Right.
we don't know all of what he went through to get to where he is now. We kind of forget the journey that some of these people that we look up to, as you said, went through. We just see where they are now, and we want to get there now. Like we want that
Exactly.
now, right? But it is a long process, and nothing really should be overlooked in the learning part. What I mean by that is you never know how this friendship with this person is going to help you with your goal, what you can learn from this situation, how this job, what you can take away from this, like all these little things in life lead up to the successes that we want to achieve.
Exactly. It's
Yeah,
like a huge ripple effect.
yeah,
And it takes time. So I don't underestimate that. And it's all part of the journey. Embrace the journey. And yeah, and that's also what makes it fun. You're not even going to be happy about your achievements if you haven't struggled and overcome adversity to get there. If
right,
everything was just handed to you, you wouldn't even be able to appreciate it anyways, right?
exactly,
It's
yeah,
nice to work for it so you can be proud of yourself, and that gives you that amazing feeling that we're all chasing if we're pursuing our dreams and we're following our passions and we're actually creating content. Most people are just consumers, but we're creators. We're putting
right,
stuff out there. We're writing stuff and we're posting that, and we're leaving something behind in this world that other people can see and consume and get value from. And we answer their questions and we solve problems for them. So that's amazing. Keep on doing that. Don't ever give up. That's right. And nothing is built overnight. Tony Robbins hasn't achieved his success overnight. I'm sure he struggled to like even get three people in the room
right,
if he held that event or whatever. Those huge brands, it just takes time. You
mm,
can't like start your brand now and then expect to be like Coca-Cola
right,
3 months from now or anything like that. Yeah, that's just normal. That's how
yeah.
things are. That's why it's worth getting, because it's not easy to get. That's what makes it so worth it.
Exactly. Yeah, working for something definitely helps you to appreciate it once you've achieved it, right? You mentioned some great ideas for content, and I just kind of want to pick your brain for maybe some other ideas because you mentioned we talked about the online courses, of course, blog posts. You could do podcasting. What are some other content ideas that people can try out for their site?
Yeah, have like a workbook, a cheat sheet, templates,
Mhm.
um, I don't know, tools even. Think about getting into that, quizzes, surveys, what else? Yeah, images even, infographics that support your the points that you mentioned in your blog post and visualize everything, videos, audio snippets, slide decks, yeah, anything helpful. Group blog posts that you have about similar topics together and turn them into an ebook. So many things you can do, really.
Yeah, yeah. It's all about creativity, isn't it? Just
Absolutely,
yeah.
yes. You can repurpose your content in endless ways almost. So, uh,
I'm learning that. So that yeah, because there are people consume things differently. Just like we have different types of learners or people that prefer their audible like that's not how you say Audible is the company that makes the audiobooks, right? I forget.
that's right.
Um,
Yeah,
but anyways, there are people that learn through hearing, and I can't think of what they're called. I'm one of those people, and I can't even think of what it's called. But then you have your visual learners. You have your kinesthetic learn people who have to like do and move. You have people that learning through art. So when you can repurpose your content, you can have so if you can have something written, a blog post, and then perhaps make a video for your visual people, audio for your audio people. But there are different ways that you can creatively take that content and make it into other mediums for people.
that's right. And then share those across all of the platforms so you attract the most amount of people that you can attract. The amazing thing is, if you start with video, you have a video, then you can extract the audio from that and take just the MP3, then you have the audio, then you can run that through a tool that generates a transfer for you, then boom, you got text. You can turn that into a blog article, then take
Yeah.
some key takeaways away from that little snippet, post them on Twitter, post them here and there, put it as a quote on like an image, and share that on your Instagram as well. Create graphics, like take the key points and simple graphics that you can really create yourself. I'm not talking about super advanced stuff. Like take like the 5 key points from your article and find 5 icons that represent that really well. Just put the keywords on there, share it as an image. There's so many things you can do, and always keep the 4 media formats in mind, which is text, image, video, and audio. And think about how you can take one piece of content and repurpose that 4 times. So you have each format. So that's how you fully leverage. Yeah, just your content. You have to create less content that way if you repurpose it, and you can reshare it, and also make it suitable for all kinds of different platforms as well, so you can get the word out in every way that you possibly can that helps you grow.
Right, right. And we're almost out of time, but I want to touch on this part just quickly because it is important. Knowing your audience, how would you advise someone of ways that they can understand who their audience is, who their readers are, what it is that they want and need?
Oh, that's a super important point that you're just touching upon here. Yes, your readers, your end consumers. So you want to tailor everything to them, so they like what they see, because that's who you want to cater to, right? So I recommend to create personas, and those personas represent your readers, your target audience, and you can make educated guesses and write things down about them. And you can also ask them, and create surveys and get real data and real input that you get from them, and then you put it all together into this persona, and think about their age, their culture, where they're from, what languages they speak, what
Right. Yeah.
cuisine they like to eat, what are their hopes, dreams, fears, wishes, pain points, problems, aspirations in life, everything. What's their vision? What are they passionate about? What do they work? Maybe they have like their job in common, and that's similar. How do they like to spend their free time? Do they have children? Are they married? What's their level of education? What kind of social media platforms do they hang out on? What methods of communication do they use? Are those people, do they prefer emails? Do they prefer text message? Do they prefer phone calls? Are they more visual? This and that, male, female, everything. Like take everything into account, and then you can nail it down to this persona, and it feels like you're talking to one person. That
Mm.
makes finding your voice and your messaging so much easier if you have all of this listed as like a profile of a person, like your persona. You
Mm.
can add like a picture, either like a little avatar or like a stock image of a person that looks just like how you envision that person. And then when you're writing content, you're writing specifically to Sarah
Mm.
or Steve or John or Ebony. That makes it so much easier because you have this person in front of you, and it's no longer like this abstract concept of my readers, those numbers that I see in my analytics software when I check how many people have visited my blog. So
Right.
that helps you a whole lot. I actually have a template for that on my website, so if you're
Okay.
interested in grabbing that, you can grab that, and it's going to help you a lot, so you have it all in one document. So yeah, create buyer personas.
Right. And when your audience reads your content, when it is personalized, when you've taken the time to actually think about who you're speaking to, they actually feel as though you're speaking to them.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
effect that you want to have. You want to make the communication feel like it's one-on-one communication, super personal, and everything
Yeah.
is tailored to them, because we're bombarded by content from everywhere. We
Yeah.
get so much input wherever we go. We just open up our phone. So many new posts in our feed. You can scroll endlessly. So you can stand out by personalizing your messaging. And that's how you do it. You want to make it feel really, really personal. That's what that helps you with.
Yeah, and I've read there have been moments where I've read sales letters, even the sales letters that are now online, not like old time sales letters that you actually get in snail mail, but where they're selling some type of product. And now I know they make a lot of these video type sales letters, like on YouTube or whatever, where it's actual just that
Yeah.
person speaking to you. But I'm always amazed at how when something's really effective when you're reading it and you want what they're selling. You're like, yes, yes, and there's always this point in that sales letter where I'm like, they'll say something like, do you feel sad every time your cat looks at you, whatever. And I'm like, yes, yes, and because they know like those pain points that you mentioned, like they understand their audience. They know what it is that their audience needs help with or what they're bothered by. And when they start listing those things, the audience, because that person's taking the time to really think about them, they're like, that's me, that's me, that's me. And you can really grab their attention.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you want to make them feel. Like you can, like, how did you get in my head right now?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
you can read that across and you know exactly what they like, so you can speak to them and they're ready to buy from you. Really think about, go into detail. What TV shows do they watch? Do you know that your target audience every Friday at 6 p.m. they do this and that? Magazines do they read? Really think about everything that they have in common. Maybe it's like a music genre. And then you can come up with great examples like, do you feel sad when your cat looks at that like a certain way? And tailor your messaging to that.
Yeah, that's great. Great advice.
So powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. Monique, this was great. You have so much like experience and you have some great advice and you're very creative. Like that's just obvious by talking to you. So I really enjoyed this conversation. And do you have any like closing words of advice or encouragement for people who are maybe just starting out on this journey of marketing their stuff? You've probably already you've given tons of advice, but if you have any closing words?
Just don't give up. Really believe in yourself and don't give up. It's so worth it. And make sure that what you do, all of the effort that you put in, you do it in the most efficient way. So leverage data and do your research right. Even when it comes to the topics that you write about, don't just pick your next topic out of a gut feeling, but actually look at the demand for a certain topic. There's tools out there where you can see what the search volume for a certain keyword is, for example. So you want to cover the most popular, most requested things first and approach it in a strategic way. Strategy is so important. It's so big, and you can really see so much more growth if you have a good plan of action that you follow. And then you see success sooner, and it's going to keep you motivated and just keep going. That's really what I want to say.
That's great. Where can we find you, Monique?
You can find me on my website. That's dragon-digital-marketing.com. I have a lot of resources on there. So check out my blog as well. Check out my podcast if you're interested in marketing. You want to learn how to market yourself and market your blog. I talk about all kinds of different things. And there you can also find all my social media handles. Reach out to me. Just say hi. I'm always happy to meet new people and always available and approachable. So yeah, again, that's dragon-digital-marketing.com. I also got a free branding course on there that you can check out if you want to learn more about branding as well.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay. Isn't Monique fabulous? She has so many wonderful tips and, as you can tell, knows a whole lot about marketing. So make sure you visit her website, Dragon Digital Marketing, and tune into her podcast for even more great information. Follow her social media. And speaking of social media, you can follow me at Motivation to Write on Instagram and Facebook, and at Ebony Haywood on Twitter. Make sure you tune in. I cannot talk today. Tune in this Sunday for my big takeaways from my conversation with Monique. Until then, have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time when I have another wonderful conversation with a wonderful guest. Okay, bye-bye.